Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Krashy, and today will probably be the laziest video I think I ever make. We're sitting here looking at my thumbnail for the last video, and I want to give some thoughts about this system. Now, why am I making this video? I have had a lot of time to think about this system. I've talked with people in my Discord about it. I've talked with friends about it. I've tweeted about it. I've talked in stream chats about it. And I think that I have a good grasp of my opinion. So I kind of gave my opinion when presenting the system, but now I want to give like my this is what I really think kind of a deep dive. So if you don't know what we're talking about, go watch the last video. I'm going to give you a TLDR really quickly. We essentially got a leak from a reputable, just a newer leaker that not too many people know about, from Rem. You can see his name on the screen now, and he's claiming that Unite's going to get a rune system like the old League of Legends system. I'll explain that in a second. Now, the thing about Rem is that, and I left this out of my last video, Rem actually leaked Tyranitar and some of the anniversary skins before other leakers did, so he does have some credibility. It's just he hasn't been, you know, the El Chico Eevee of the scene. But later on yesterday, Eclipse, a much more reputable leaker, again, no offense to Rem at all, but a much more reputable leaker just based on his track record, also corroborated this leak and is saying, sorry, I'm hitting my mic, is also saying that this rune system is going to come out. So it is very likely that they're at minimum working on this system. It's not just something someone made up. We don't know if it'll hit the game. They may scrap this system entirely. It's allegedly from like a closed beta test, and we can't have really any way of corroborating that or seeing any footage or anything like that. But that's kind of set the stage. Now, an old rune system like League of Legends is essentially, I want you to think about it really simply. We have 3 item slots. And what you do when you pick an item is that you're picking a predetermined set of stats and properties for that slot. You pick a shell bell, you know what shell bell does because it's predetermined, you put it in that slot. A rune system, or well, they're called boost badges or boost emblems, I'm not really sure which one is the right one. That system is like having a 4th item slot, but the item slot isn't an item, it's a set of stats that you yourself select. So if you're playing Pikachu, you could then slot stats for additional SP attack, additional defense, or SP defense, or cooldown reduction. And so it gives a lot of control and customization to the player in terms of, how do I want to play my Pikachu, right? How do I want to play my Zeraora kind of feeling to it without having to just predetermine pick a 4th item slot. So inherently, the system is about customization. So I advocate a lot for a 4th item slot, which I do think would be amazing. I like the sounds of this system. I like the bones of this system. But viewing this system the way that we see it, like as a leak, leaves so many questions, and that's what I kind of want to talk about. This is where my opinion begins to form. The main thing that you have to know is that these emblems, we don't know how we acquire them. It may be something we unlock passively. It may be something that requires gold to unlock. It may be something that requires tickets to unlock. And I think it's likely that they're going to be a lot like items themselves, where you have to purchase them. But because they're an emblem and not like a fully completed item, I'm hoping that if there is a cost associated with them, and there probably will be, that would be my assumption, it's a very low barrier for entry cost. Because if you're buying an emblem, or if you're unlocking an emblem, and it has like 2 attack on it, that's not the same as buying a muscle band, right? It's not the same. It's way less value. So I'm assuming that if it does have a cost on it, it's going to be very low bar entry. That's okay. We're still, stay on board with me. We're still fine. I still don't hate the system yet. So customization system with a lot of different stats that you can pick from to pick and choose to basically, you know, like I said, kind of, you know, pseudo make your own 4th item in a way, or just a series of stats. And you have to get the emblems. So the first big question again is, how do we get the emblems? Nobody knows. Nobody has any idea. Then they have this emblem tiering system. So it's like bronze, silver, gold emblems. And the way that it is, they're essentially like rarities. So like if you have, again, I'm going to use attack as an example. If you have a bronze attack stat emblem, maybe it's +2 attack. But if you have a silver emblem, maybe it's +5 attack. And if you have a gold emblem, maybe it's +10 attack. So obviously, the way that this system is set in place is you're going to always want gold emblems. You always want gold emblems. They're always going to be the best. And you can do what's called emblem merging. Now, what the thing here is where more and more questions come in. How many emblems does it take to merge or to attempt a merger to the next emblem? Is it 2? Do I need 2 bronzes to go to silver? Is it 3? Is it 5? So that's going to be another system because, or that's going to be another big question because that's going to be correlated to the cost. How much do I have to even accumulate to try to make a merger? And then this is the big one. How much gold does the merger cost? Because to attempt, and I say attempt, to attempt a merger, you have to spend gold to try to combine those badges. So let's build a hypothetical. I did this in the last video. Let's say I have 3 silver attack emblems, and it takes 3 to attempt a merger. And let's say it takes 2,000 gold. I roll that gold. I roll that merger. I see if it's successful, and it's unsuccessful. Well, per the leak, I'll keep my emblems, my 3 silver emblems, my attack stat emblems. They'll go back into my item inventory, back into my emblem decks, is what the leak said, and I'll lose my 2,000 gold. So I've been kind of seeing a lot of, oh, this game, like they might be going back to pay to win. Like I've been seeing a lot of, like I'm worried that this system will be pay to win. And the irony is that myself personally, I see it as a 0% chance that it's pay to win. 0% chance. And like, yay, woo! But no, but no. Because what I think I see is that this is a backwards monetization system. At the core of this system, what is this goal? What is this system trying to do? What is it accomplishing? Well, it's accomplishing, in my mind, 2 things. It's accomplishing putting customization in the hands of the player, which I love. I love that. But it's also accomplishing getting the players to spend gold and maybe tickets, because again, we don't know. At minimum, we know it's going to cost gold. So maybe gold and tickets, and to, and this is a very strong word here, to waste gold. Waste. Well, why would they want us to waste gold? Well, maybe they know that the rate of gold that they're giving out, or that a lot of players are able to hoard gold based on what they've seen. Spraggles has 100,000 gold, and don't get me wrong, not everybody has this. Like me and Spraggles and other content creators, we buy some of the Pokemon straight out, so we've been able to hoard some of our gold, but in general, they're very generous with their resources in this game as free to play, and it's one of the things that, I think a lot of people have come to know and unite for. But I don't see this as a pay to win system. I see it as a participate to like waste your resources kind of system. And the reason why I said I think this is a backwards monetization system is it's very simple. If you are a free to play player and they introduce a system that makes your character stronger, actually, not even if you're free to play, sorry, if you're a player of Pokemon Unite and they introduce a system that makes your character stronger, you have to participate, right? Like who's not gonna try to get, a bunch of stats? So this is where things get really messy, and it leads us to another really big question about this system. How consequential are these stats? I think the leak said that there's going to be like 10 badges that you can equip. Well, those 10 badges could be really negligible. And I'm talking about, like my example, 2, 5, 10 attack. If I could equip 10 attacks, that's 100 attack. That's massive. That is literally a gigantic, single item, essentially. So how much are we spending on this? What is the success and fail rate of merging? How many emblems do we need to merge? How much do those emblems cost? And essentially, like how much are they going to try to get us to waste on this system? Because if you're someone that takes the game seriously, you're going to participate in this system, and everybody's going to probably participate in this system, and everybody's going to want the highest grade that they can get. So it's a backwards monetization system in my mind, because they're not getting us to pay for this system, but what it does do is it forces us to use our gold and our tickets potentially on this system, which means that when, Buzzwole comes out, my 10k isn't around anymore. When Glaceon comes out, my 10k is not around anymore. And so and let me make something really clear really quickly. I'm not hating the system inherently right now. These are questions. I think that there's three possibilities. They could come out and this could be incredibly predatory. It could be you're wasting 2,000-3,000 gold every day. You're not getting the emblems upgraded. It's the system is wasting way too much. That could happen. I think it could come out and this could be very inconsequential. And I want to talk about this in a second as well. And then it could come out and it could be just fine. It could be balanced as hell. So I'm not trying to doom and gloom this system. I like what it's trying to accomplish, but I want to show both sides of it. I do think that they're trying to accomplish giving the players customizations at the expense of our resources. So that way they can essentially, in a way, make a little bit more money, which is not a bad thing. When I say like, oh, they want to make more money, I don't mean that as a bad thing. We want them to make money. So it does feel like they are trying to pull away from us a little bit, like take away some of the resources, and then not that this system is monetized, but because this system will be spending that free-to-play currency, it's essentially monetized, because then we'll have less resources for buying Pokemon. So that's kind of my thoughts. Depending on how consequential the stats are, is going to be really big. Depending on the fail percentage, how common is it going to be to fail? If that's really low, then this is probably fine, right? Like if 9 times out of 10 when I try to do a merger it works, that's probably fine, right? Like I can afford, depending on how much it costs, I can afford to fail a merger every now and then. So how consequential are the stats? How much is it going to cost to get the rune or the emblems themselves? How much does it cost to upgrade them? What's the fail percentage? And this is another big one too. I actually forgot this a second ago. I should have brought this up earlier. Are these universal emblems or are they character specific? Is it a mixture of both? Because if they're universal emblems, let's say there's 100 emblems in total, but if they're universal, you could use them on anybody. But if there's any character specific emblems, that's just going to make us have to buy more and more and more, which makes the system like much more steep, and that could be a little dangerous as well. Like for example, if everything's like attack, cooldown, health, cooldown reduction, I already said that. You get the point. If everything's all the normal stats, SP defense, SP attack, then anybody could use those technically. Like, yeah, you're not going to want to put the SP attack emblems on Greninja, but technically anybody could use those because they're universal stats. But if they have like an emblem that's like Lucario's E-Speed has 1% less cooldown, if they have something like that, then it's like, oh my god, there's going to be so many of, there's going to be thousands of them. So that would make the system require more resources as well. So this was 14 minutes of me talking about this system, because this system raises a lot of questions, and it's not inherently bad. I want to make that really, really clear. I'm not sitting here thinking like this is going to ruin the game. I actually think this could make the game amazing. It's just, it has to be balanced, and it has to be a mutual relationship between the players and the developers. It has to be, because if they just end up like draining all our resources, then the game is just way less free-to-play friendly, right? Because you have to recognize that even though this system won't be pay to win, and I'm serious, I'm very positive this system will not be pay to win. It's gonna require more pay to play, because this system's gonna take the resources from us, potentially waste those resources, and then, you know, new Pokemon comes out and we don't have as much gold as we used to. So we'll see, right? I'm excited to see what this is about. The leaks are looking more and more credible and reputable day by day, and I do think that this is coming out. To end this discussion, Sanji, a friend of mine, competitive player, he said that him and some friends were talking about this, and they're not actually convinced that this system is coming to ranked matches, mostly just because the leaker didn't associate this system. Hey, it's my alarm. The leaker didn't associate this system with ranked matches. So I could kind of see that maybe this system would not be associated with normal play, and maybe it's just for the Gmax mode that we have above me here. Maybe it's just for that mode. But I feel like this system sounds sophisticated. Like, think about the tech side of them building this system. It sounds sophisticated. So I don't think so. I think that if they're going to put something like this, it's probably going to be all encompassing, right? Like, it's going to cover the whole game. That's my personal opinion, but we'll wait and see. So friends, let me know your thoughts. I think that if you're not a MOBA player, a system like this could sound really weird. Like, I don't hate the system. I actually like it a lot more than I'm worried about it. But I'm worried about it. But I think that that's just the nature of leaks, right? We don't have the whole story. So, not to doom and gloom. I hope I put that out there enough, because that's not what I'm trying to do. This could be a very good system. We have to wait and see. Friends, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching this lazy-ass video. I definitely do appreciate it. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe for future Pokemon Unite content. As always, be sure to be kind to one another. Tell someone you love them. And I'll see you on the next video.